A country most Americans couldn't find on a map just agreed to hand over its uranium. And the decision was made in Washington, Jerusalem, and Vienna, not Damascus. From here in Europe, that tells you almost everything about how sovereignty works in the new Syria. The regime fell, and now the leftovers of its nuclear ambitions are being packed up under foreign supervision with the seller present, but not exactly in charge. Here is what happened. The United States and Syria's transitional government, led by interim President Ahmed al-Sharaa, have agreed to surrender the fissile uranium material left over from the atomic program of the toppled ruler Bashar al-Assad. The material will leave the country under the custody of the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna. And the country that pushed hardest for international control was not the United States. It was Israel. Washington negotiated. President Donald Trump even received al-Sharaa at the White House this past November and called Syria's transitional government a good partner. But it was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu who applied the real pressure. Israeli intelligence reportedly noticed increased activity around a secret site experts simply call Site 99. The fear was straightforward, that the radioactive material might quietly disappear. A little history clarifies the nervousness. The agency first confirmed a secret Syrian nuclear program in a report in 2019. But Israel didn't wait for reports. Back in 2007, the Israeli military destroyed a suspected atomic facility in Syria from the air. Assad's regime is then believed to have continued working on a civilian program at that hidden location. So when Israel says it is worried, it has form. Now the technical part, because it matters. The material is so-called yellowcake, a mixture of uranium ore that can be processed into enriched uranium. It is not enough to build a nuclear weapon. It is, however, enough to build a so-called dirty bomb. Radioactive material wrapped around conventional explosives, not a mushroom cloud, but precisely the kind of thing that keeps intelligence services awake, especially in a country in transition where nobody is entirely sure who is guarding the warehouse. And here is where the European eye lingers. In the same week, Syria's government struck a separate deal with Russia over the Russian military bases on its soil. The naval base at Tartus and the air base at Hmeimim are to be converted within 3 months and repurposed for what the parties delicately call joint capacity building in the interest of mutual benefit. Read that twice. Damascus is handing uranium to the West while keeping Moscow comfortably parked on its coast. That is the picture. A transitional government threading a needle between Washington, Jerusalem, and Moscow, agreeing to whatever keeps each capital calm this month. The uranium leaves, the Russians stay. The Americans get a headline about non-proliferation. Israel gets its inspection, and al-Sharaa gets to survive another quarter. From the outside, it looks less like a resolved crisis and more like a country renting out its own future to the highest bidders, one deal at a time. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.